The Global Wind Energy Council has announced the formation of a floating offshore wind task force with participation of key global industry players and associations to drive global growth of floating offshore wind. The Floating Offshore Wind Task Force will be chaired by GWEC Global Offshore Wind Ambassador and industry pioneer Henrik Stiesdal, and vice-chaired by Maf Smith, floating offshore wind expert and former Deputy CEO of RenewableUK. Members of the task force consist of leading stakeholders in the floating offshore wind sector, including Equinor, GE Renewable Energy, Iberdrola, Ideol, the Japanese Wind Power Association, MHI Vestas, Ørsted, Principal Power, RenewableUK, Siemens Gamesa Renewable Energy, Shell, Stiesdal, WPD, and the World Bank Group. The first actions of the task force will be to define the priority markets for offshore wind, and engage with the relevant local associations, policymakers and NGOs in the fishing, marine mammals and port sectors through a sequence of conferences, seminars and workshops to promote and educate stakeholders about the floating offshore sector and to share best practices. Floating offshore wind is a significant market opportunity, and can increase offshore wind resource by tenfold by opening new markets where fixed-bottom offshore wind would not be possible. As of the end of 2019, 65.7 megawatts of floating offshore wind capacity was installed globally, in the UK, Japan, Portugal, Norway, and France. According to GWEC market intelligence forecasts, 6.2 gigawatts of floating offshore wind is likely to be built by 2030 given the current project pipeline. However, this forecast could be increased to up to 19 gigawatts if cost reduction is accelerated.